Welcome, and thank you for tuning into our program. The following presentation has no video and is intended to be listened to and enjoyed without the need to actually watch anything. So kick back and relax, or continue whatever you are doing and just enjoy listening to our story. From behind me, I heard a noise. I didn't move. It's dark. Maybe they can't see me.
Psst! You, Gumshoe! I called the cops. I thought you might need this.
I turned around in my crouched position and saw a dim light from a weak flashlight and Donna holding a rusty crowbar.
It's from my scrap collection. Don't break it, and I want it back when you're done.
It was dark in the alley. Donna held the flashlight while I broke open the lock. Penelope, we need to get you to safety. I don't know who else might be watching. The police should be here soon, and my car is parked nearby.
I want to thank the both of you so much for helping me get out of here. I don't know how I'm going to be able to repay you. Can you help me grab these files and ledgers? They will prove my father's guilt. He has been skimming money from my mother's inherited company for years, and he drained all the personal accounts.
Hey, Dee, the cops are coming.
The police pulled up to the front of the factory as the three of us were walking out of the alley. We were met by Detective Eddie. Billy, I heard you needed help. I do. This is Penelope Northcliffe Baker. She was my kidnapping case. She has information, I believe, that relates to your investigation. She has been locked up in that building for a few days now. Is that so? Billy, I will take her to the station. Do you have everything under control here? Who's this girl? Detective Eddie, this is Donna. She is the one that called for help. She lives here in Shady Lane. Well, thank you, Donna.
You're welcome, Gumshoe. I need my bar back, and you owe me $1. I need to get home. Mom will think I got in trouble if the neighbors are watching and see the cop cars here.
I gave Donna her crowbar and $1.50 for Susie and an IOU on a street hockey game. Donna and Susie ran off. Penelope, do you need medical attention? Penelope just shook her head no.
I'm just glad this is over.
I watched as they drove off. As I walked back to my car under the faint flickering light of one of the few remaining street lamps, I got into my car and looked over at the factory. I'm glad this is over. I only have one loose end. Mr. Raymond Northcliffe. He owes me an explanation, my money, and some jail time. Hunched over my steering wheel, I noticed a shadow of a figure in one of the lit windows in the factory. Could Mr. Northcliffe be hiding in the factory? Was he staying there while Penelope was locked in that office? I grabbed my flashlight, checked that it worked, and made my way to the factory. The front door was unlocked. I quietly entered. I noticed that to my right there was a room with light coming from a crack underneath the door. The rest of the factory floor was empty and dark. I slowly approached the door and heard footsteps pacing, and a voice was muttering. It was indeed Mr. Northcliffe's voice. I caught a few words. Stupid girl, stubborn, end up like her mother. Beneficiary papers. Attorney. I will have nothing. I was getting angry at what I was hearing, but I knew I had to keep my head on straight. With self-confidence and a cool head, I opened the door. Mr. Northcliffe, I've found Penelope. You were the one holding her for ransom as an excuse to clean out and sell all the assets at the manor. Mr. Northcliffe made a move to get around the desk, and that's when I lunged. Pinned him against the desk, pulled out my .38 and held it right in front of his face. His eyes were the size of dinner plates. He stuttered for me not to kill him, and I told him that he deserved something much worse than death for what he did to his own daughter. You took away her mother, her husband, and her home. You. He looked at me totally defeated. I put my pistol away, grabbed him by the shirt, and led him out the door and put him into my car. On the way to the station, he babbled about how Penelope was supposed to be in the car with her mother. Winston also knew too much about the private office and who had been there, so he had to go too. All three were supposed to be killed in the wreck. He was angry that his wife was better at the business than he was, and his daughter Penelope was turning out to be the same way. I did one bad business deal to cover another. Bad business deal, he said. It just got out of control. I said nothing. I arrived at the police station and sat Mr. Northcliffe at Detective Eddie's desk, who looked up at me and smiled. I felt a bit sorry for Detective Eddie at that moment. I knew he was going to have a late night. I could go home, relax, and try to get some sleep. I walked out. That's when I passed the lieutenant's office and saw Penelope sitting, looking crestfallen, tired. She was holding a glass of water. I tapped on the already open door, and she looked up. Do you mind if I sit down? I didn't get a chance to properly introduce myself. I'm William Nickels. I'm a private investigator. My friends call me Billy.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Nickels. For a moment there, I thought your name might have been Gumshoe. Mr. Nickels, I have lost everything. My family is gone. My home is gone. My father borrowed against my mother's life insurance policy, like grabbing pennies from heaven. My own father has destroyed everything. All I have left is what is in these two.
Your maid was able to box up some of your personal belongings. I have them out in my car. I know of a rooming house that has an opening. It's nothing fancy, but it's very clean, it's quiet, and cheap. I could drive you there. I need to stop by my office and make a few calls anyway. To 3 people that are very concerned about you, and I promised them I would. Did you get something to eat?
Yes, I had some water and half a sandwich. I'm really not in the mood for eating, but I need employment to be able to afford a room.
I know of a private investigating service that is looking for a secretary. Something about a New Year's resolution. We left the station and went to my office. Penelope looked around, ran her finger across the dirty window pane, and looked out at the street while I made some late-night phone calls. One call was to the rooming house where I told the friendly Mr. and Mrs. Codworth the situation. Then I called Winston and the butler. When I called the maid, I gave the phone to Penelope and walked outside. There was a real bite to the cold evening air. I knew the maid was more of a friend to Penelope than just household staff. After the call, Penelope stepped outside and joined me. I pointed to the blue sign of the rooming house off in the distance.
Mr. Nickels, I would really like to start working as soon as possible if that is all right with you. I want to keep my mind off of everything that has happened.
I knew that feeling all too well. How about the day after tomorrow? 8 a.m. It will give you time to get settled in, and I need to go out and buy you a desk.
I will be here at 8 a.m.
I drove to the rooming house where Mr. and Mrs. Codworth were waiting. Mr. Codworth helped with the boxes, and the missus took Penelope to her room and then shooed me out the door. I told them that Penelope will be employed by me starting on Wednesday. Tuesday morning, Detective Eddie called me, and I had to go to the station and give them a statement. Mr. Raymond Northcliffe will be going away for a long time. According to Detective Eddie, when he spoke with the Northcliffe attorneys, Miss Penelope Baker, she has nothing. I did, however, find a desk, comfortable office chair, and supplies for my new employee. It's Wednesday morning, January the 7th. Penelope walks in. She was looking rested and cheerful. She eyes the empty desk in the corner, the dirty window, and the dingy hardwood floor, the stacks of files on my desk.
Mr. Nickels, I hardly know you, and you have done so much for me. What can I do to repay you?
Well, Miss Baker, you can be the best secretary that I have ever had.
You can call me Penny. My maid always called me Penny, and I will try my best, Mr. Nickels. How many secretaries have you had?
Well, you're the first.
Well, then, where do you want me to start?
I pointed to the files on the desk and smiled. Penny went straight to work, with a proficiency like she had been a secretary all her life. My New Year's resolution was to make this office look more professional, and with Penny's help, I think that will get accomplished. And that's the end of our story, Pennies from Heaven. Let us know in the comments below if you want us to continue on with another case from Billy Nickels, Private Investigator, or if you want us to mix it up. We do have some other storylines that we have put together. So, once again, thanks for listening. Drop us a comment. Please remember to give it a thumbs up if you enjoy what we're doing. Subscribe, share, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.